Hello one and all, this is Hybridsteel. Thank you very much for joining me in today's Car Mechanic Simulator 2021 Fixing Cars Right video. So, this is the Bolt Mosquito Mark 6. Going by the little description, it's been in a little bit of a crash and we may be fixing, it's missing the back. Again, it's the remorse. Let's get it in and see what we can do with it. Okay, so let's lift it up and then see what's wrong. So yeah, it's been a bit of a crash. 98% to frame. So actually the frame's in good. Interior is good. It's body and parts. So we're scared now. We have 6 pages of parts that need to be found. Repair and replace basically the entirety of the bodywork. And yeah, cool. Okay, so as the entire engine has... Jesus, look at that. Ruined. That side looks alright. Right, so I'm going to empty all the fluids. You don't have to do this, and I suppose I should put this down as a... Like, I do this because I need... in my head, like OCD bits and pieces, I take the fluids out. You don't have to do this. I've actually had comments about, oh, you don't have to do that. You just... It's just what I do. Alright, cool. So, the way that you would do a license plate, I don't know if this makes a blind bit of difference. Apparently it does, but this will be the first time I've done a license plate like this properly. So, pull up my shopping list. License plate California. So, we're going to take 2 of these. And they want to be customized, apparently, which is weird. And you have to go by the word that was actually on the actual license plate. It's all good. Apparently, it makes a difference. There we go. Control. That's what it said when I needed it. It's alright. So, that is all the bodywork done. Alright, so you literally just need to buy everything that you can't repair and just carry on with your day and be all good. Next, obviously, we can't do this because we haven't got anything in there. We have to do a headlight and wheel alignment, but this car is going to take a lot of work. And it's not... I'm not even joking, and that's the worst part. I wish I was. I really do. So, as you can see... This corner of the entire car is knackered. Looks like it's been hit from here. And then all in here, like the front end is just completely ruined. Apart from maybe a wheel. And the bits and pieces here. But we're going to have to take the cross member out. We're going to have to take out this entire side. We're going to have to take that entire side out. And then we've got engine work to do. But first off, I'm going to take out everything that's ruined underneath the car. Then we'll work on the engine. So I'll go through a parts list in a minute when we get to that point. And while we're under the car, if we take the oil filter off as well, because oil filters always need to come off, so yay. And because there is damage in this car, I'm going to check inside the gearbox. I don't know if it's ruined or not. I just have a fear that maybe the crankshaft's gone, which means I have to take apart the whole car. Oh, look, it looks okay. Alright, I think we might be safe, but the only way to check is to really look inside and hope, with fingers crossed, that the pistons are fine. Yeah, they look clean. Oh, I don't know. We got a bit of rust. Let's take that one off. Worst comes to worst, we pop it back on. It's still in good condition. 74%. Yeah, you know what? We'll buy another one. I'm all right with just one. We'll keep it on for a second. What's the minimum for 72? Rightio. These look like they've been ruined out as well. They're in bad condition. I'm going to take the battery off because we can charge the battery. That's fine. Right, okay, so let's get into the mess, because this is horrific beyond belief. Right, let's do this. These are different. I've never dealt with this sort of thing before, so I don't think I've ever played with an ignition coil that looks like this. So, new parts. That is the whole engine that I saw as bad. And yeah, we have found everything. So, from the top to the bottom, at the corner, forgotten. So, alternator, arm, V8, DOH, CGM. Brake caliper, cylinder, brake disc ventilated, brake pad, coolant reservoir B, crankshaft pulley V8, engine head A, V8, DOHC, CGM. Engine head B, and this bloody long thing. V8, yeah, there's engine head cover B, engine manifold A, front axle knuckle cover, front shock absorber A, front shock absorber cap, front spring, front steering knuckle D, front suspension crossmember C, front sway bar B, front wheel hub and fuel pump. Then the fuel tank, the idle roller A, idle roller B, ignition coil, and then the inner tyre rod, lower suspension arm, outer tyre rod, power steering pump 14B, radiator A, radiator fan housing B, radiator fan housing B, fan 1 and fan 2, rear axle knuckle housing A, rear drive axle, rear muffler A, rear shock absorber A, rear shock absorber cap, rear suspension arm A and B, rear suspension upper arm, rear wheel hub, and 2 rim 04s. Then there's 2 rubber bushings, 17 belt B, small rubber bushing, spring cap, steering rack, sway bar rear and link, the throttle, the timing cover, the water pump pulley, the wheel hub 3, wheel hub bearings and wheel hub cap, and the windshield washer reservoir. There we go, that's basically every single part that you need to replace. Now, I'm going to go and see how much money I can save myself. Number 1, I'm going to charge the battery. So like I've said before, the main reason why I tend to repair as much as I can and fix as much as I can is because if it's not right, then it needs to be repaired or it needs to be fixed. I know some people have already had a go at me in the well, they haven't had a go at me, they've just mentioned that I didn't have to do this or I didn't have to do that. But that's the problem with the way I always am. If you've ever played any of my Hydroneer stuff, or even come and talk to me on my live streams, you'll see this sort of OCD style behaviour right in front of you, live, where I'm sitting there and I'll start, like, I will get a bit like anxious and twitchy that I need to do something that hasn't been done yet and it needs to be fixed. It's just the way I am. I can't stop that, and it's just joys of being human. I've always had little weird OCD things, and this is one of them. Make sure everything's above a certain point, and if it's not, then fix it. Okie dokie. So, okay, I've spent a fair amount of money repairing in bits and pieces and everything else. You don't have to do this. It's just what I do. We've been through the parts list. You know exactly what you're doing. I'm going to stick all this together, and then we're going to come back and have a chat, because we've got a couple of more things to do after this. Basically, I'm just, we're going to get through this as quickly as I possibly can. We're so very close to doing this. It's just, even with this modern engine using like valve push rods, I still don't like valve push rods. I wish that like modern engines would get rid of this stuff altogether, but that's just my personal feelings on it. I just think there's too many bits to mess around with when you could just make one unit, I suppose, but that's just me. Rear suspension arm, I haven't put it back on, so that's probably where that is. Yeah, thought so. It's just something I just overlooked. Yeah, it does happen. Actually, I've got to be honest, it happens more times than I would like to admit, but it does happen. Okay, so here we go. Alternator arm, V8 DOHC CGM. Brake caliper, cylinder, brake disc, ventilator, brake pads, coolant reservoir B, crankshaft pulley V8, engine head A, engine head B, engine cover B, engine exhaust manifold A, front axle knuckle, front shock absorber A, front shock absorber cap, front spring, front steering knuckle D, front suspension cross member C, front sway bar B, front wheel hub and fuel pump. Fuel tank, idle roller A and B, ignition coil, inner tyre rod, lower suspension arm, outer tyre rod, power steering pump, radiator A, radiator fan housing B, radiator fan housing B, fan 1 and 2. Rear axle knuckle housing A, rear drive axle, rear muffler A, rear shock absorber A, rear shock absorber cap, rear suspension arm A, rear suspension arm B, rear suspension upper arm, rear wheel hub and rim modern 04. 2 rubber bushings, serpentine bell B, small rubber bushings, spring cap, steering rack, sway bar rear end link, throttle V8, timing cover V8 and water pump V8, and this is the DOHC CGM. Then we go on to the last page, which is water pump pulley, wheel hub 3, wheel hub bearing, wheel hub cap and the windshield washer reservoir. Now that is everything when it comes to parts for this car. Now all I got to do is fill up on the fluids again, so that's a couple of minutes work and it's not too bad. Then we've got to take it over to the test track because we need to mess around with some headlights in the wheel alignment. All good. So going by this, we've done the repairs, we've done all the bits and pieces. Now we've got to go and perform a headlight alignment and perform wheel alignment, and that's all we got to do. We don't have to paint this car. And that I'm surprised at, because I would have thought, you know, he'd be like, hey, can you do it? No, we don't need to do that. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going to run around in a happy glee, and it'll be alright, good. Alright, cool. So the wheels were absolutely way out of place, weren't they? Jeebus. I like these tools now. I after playing like 2018 so much, that it was like, I need to do all this, but the stress, and it's like actually, like, having all of this stuff in, it just makes life so much easier. And you know what? I enjoy the game more, the fact that I know I can do this. And there we go. We have successfully put this bad boy back together. And I'm going to be honest, I like this car. Right, this is in my top cars I would like to own in my real time. Anyways, so here we go. Done it all. Other tasks finished. Repair body finished. All the parts finished. We are going to make 26,465 doll hairs on this. And we've spent a good amount on this, but we're going to make some decent money back, so that's all good. Can we send this off? Yeah, we're done. Check that shiz out. Look at that, 43 grand in the back burner. All good, man, all good. So, guys, I want to say thank you very much for joining me. Okay, guys, so thank you very much for joining me in today's video. If you did like this, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, and notification button below for all other updates. I'll be back here with a brand new video, live stream, or whatever else I do on this channel. Until then, thank you very much for coming by. Peace out, have fun, and enjoy everything you guys do. Bye-bye for now.